Pandas, 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 pandas. Hey pandas, welcome to the channel. This is something that I don't typically do, but because of the circumstances, I figured it's actually worth mentioning. If you look at this chart, this is the daily chart of the E-mini for the last 3 years, since 2019. We see that from January 2019 all the way to present day. When we look at this chart, something interesting just had happened. If you look at this entire chart, you do not see any single magenta boxes. Magenta boxes on this chart mean that there was a second entry that failed. Right now, this is the first time we have ever seen a magenta box on the daily chart. That means after a two-legged pullback, it failed to make 1 point on the daily and reversed. Why is that significant? Well, it's significant. I'm going to zoom in to the daily. It's a little closer to present time. It's because this pattern right here is typically a reversal pattern. It's what we look for major trend reversals. We have a two-legged pullback, and then after the two-legged pullback, it fails, and underneath the 20 EMA triggers a trap. And what we see here is actually a trap on the daily chart. That's the first time that's ever happened on the E-mini. And not only that, we had a failed breakout up here, or multiple failed breakouts on the top of the trading range on the daily. This looks different, right? This looks different than all of the other pullbacks. The reason being is because every single pullback that we've seen so far on the daily has been a move down. We have a move down here, and then a move back up. Again, move down and next reversal, back up. You can see with these ones here. Move down, back up. All these pullbacks were bought back very quickly. Down and then back up. This comes down again and then bought back up on the next reversal, as you can see with the second entry. What we're supposed to see here is this. We're supposed to see this being bought back up, but instead what we see is this coming down. Now when the market's supposed to do something and it doesn't do that, typically it reacts very strongly the other way. And so because of this failed second entry long here, I'm thinking this is the reversal point, possible reversal point to come back to the bottom of the channel. So right here we have a spike. So typically what happens is after a breakout like this, we call this a spike in channel, and this is a channel that's been going on for a very long time, but this is the first time we've seen this reversal pattern happen, right? Especially in a channel like this. And what happens on channels is if there is a genuine reversal, typically what happens is we come all the way back down to the bottom of the channel. And this area right here is around the 4,000 mark, as you can see. There is a gap here, a genuine gap that has not yet been filled on the E-mini. And for me, it's close enough for me to think that we're going to actually try to come and fill this gap right here, which puts us actually around exactly where right now where the 240 SMA is, and it's around the 3,990 mark. Typically what happens after a spike in channel, we test the bottom of the channel. And so with a reversal pattern like this on the daily, what I'm expecting is actually for us to come to the bottom of the channel. If I saw this on the 2K chart, the 5-minute chart, 10K chart, whatever chart, doesn't really matter because based on price action, I see that we have here a break, a reversal pattern, and what I would assume is we're going to come to the bottom of the channel to test it. That is a pretty big drop right here. That's about a 400 point drop. And trade at your own risk. This is just what I see on a daily. And for me, regardless of what the daily chart says, it just helps me in terms of day trading. And that's a nice thing about scalping. Because I don't necessarily worry if this actually does happen. I'll just scalp this along the way. I don't care if it's a bubble or if it's a crash. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just focused on my setups on the intraday charts. But I just thought that was worth mentioning because this has literally never happened before in the last 3 years, at least from what I can tell. And I just thought it was worth mentioning. So that's it for my review. Trade at your own risk. Don't go buying $20,000 worth of puts or anything like that. I'm just saying what I would typically see on a 5-minute chart if this has happened. I'm thinking coming back to the bottom of the channel here, but in my mind, I think this is probably one of the worst case scenarios if this were to happen. But surprisingly, not something I think is too unfeasible because of the reversal pattern we see here on the top of this overextended channel here. And so take it as you want, but that's what I see. As always, happy trading. God bless.